The morning sun shone bright over New Seoul Colony. 10-year-old Minju ran through the dusty streets, her small feet kicking up clouds of red dirt. She laughed as her pet rabbit hopped beside her, trying to keep up with her quick steps. The spaceport was busy today with ships coming and going like they always did. Minju loved watching the big ships land. The ground would shake, and bright flames would shoot out from the bottom. She would cover her ears because of the loud noise, but she never looked away. Today felt special. Her father Junho had promised to take her to see the new farming equipment that was arriving. Junho worked hard every day to make sure the colony had everything it needed. He was the administrator, which meant he took care of everyone and everything. People came to him when they had problems, and he always tried to help. Minju was proud of her father. He was kind and smart, and everyone respected him. The rabbit suddenly jumped to the left, chasing a small bug. Minju giggled and followed it, not watching where she was going. She was having so much fun that she did not see the tall, scary figure walking toward the landing pad. Thrakvar was a Corvan enforcer. He stood 8 feet tall with thick gray skin and 4 arms that ended in sharp claws. His eyes were black and cold like pieces of coal. He wore the dark blue uniform of the Galactic Empire, with shiny medals that showed how important he was. Thrakvar did not like humans. He thought they were weak and dirty. To him, they were just animals that could talk. The Corvan Empire ruled over hundreds of worlds. They were strong and feared by everyone. Humans had joined the Empire 15 years ago, but they were at the bottom. Other aliens looked down on them. The Corvans especially hated humans because they looked different and seemed weak. Minju was still chasing her rabbit when it happened. The little animal ran right into Thrakvar's path. Minju was running so fast that she could not stop. She bumped into the big alien's leg, her small body bouncing off like a ball. Thrakvar looked down at the child. His black eyes filled with anger. How dare this little human touch him? How dare this dirty animal put its hands on his clean uniform? His face twisted with hate as he reached for his plasma weapon. "You filthy little beast," Thrakvar shouted. His voice was deep and scary. "No human touches a Corvan." Minju looked up at the huge alien. She was confused and frightened. She had just been playing. She did not understand why he was so angry. "I'm sorry," she said in her small voice. "I did not mean to bump into you." But Thrakvar did not care about her apology. He was too angry to think clearly. In his mind, this human child had insulted him. She had made him look weak in front of others. He could not let that happen. The plasma weapon made a high humming sound as it charged up. People around the spaceport stopped what they were doing. They could see what was about to happen, but they were too shocked to move. Hyena, the colony's teacher, was walking nearby with a group of children. She saw Thrakvar pull out his weapon and pointed at Minju. "No," she screamed, running toward them. But she was too far away. Daeho, a maintenance worker, was fixing a broken light nearby. He heard the shouting and looked up. When he saw what was happening, his hands shook. Without thinking, he pulled out his communication device and started recording. Junho was in his office when he heard the screaming. He ran outside as fast as he could. When he saw his daughter standing in front of the angry Corvan, his heart stopped. "Minju!" he called out, running toward her. The plasma weapon fired with a bright blue flash. The energy beam hit little Minju and she disappeared instantly. There was no scream, no cry for help. One moment she was there, the next moment she was gone. Only her small shoes remained on the dusty ground. The spaceport became silent. No one moved. No one spoke. They all stared at the empty space where a laughing child had been just seconds before. Junho fell to his knees where his daughter had stood. He picked up her tiny shoes and held them against his chest. Tears ran down his face as he whispered her name over and over. "Minju, Minju, my little girl." Thrakvar put his weapon away like nothing had happened. He looked around at all the humans watching him. "Let this be a lesson," he said coldly. "Know your place, animals." Hyena ran to Junho and knelt beside him. She was crying too. The children behind her were scared and confused. They did not understand why their friend was gone. Daeho was still recording everything. His hand shook, but he kept the device steady. He knew this moment was important. The galaxy needed to see what had happened here. 20 minutes later, a Corvan transport ship landed. Captain Velthar stepped out with several soldiers. He was Thrakvar's commander, and he had come to clean up the mess. Velthar looked at the crying humans and shook his head. "What happened here?" he asked Thrakvar. The human child attacked me. Thrakvar lied. She was aggressive. I had to defend myself. Velthar nodded like this made perfect sense. He turned to face the crowd of humans. You all saw it, he announced loudly. The child was dangerous. Enforcer Thrakvar acted correctly. This was justified enforcement action. Junho stood up slowly. His face was red with anger and pain. She was just a little girl, he said through his tears. She was playing. She meant no harm. Silence, Velthar shouted. You will not question the Empire's justice. Any of you who report this incident to Earth will face punishment. We will destroy this entire colony if we have to. The humans looked at each other with fear. They wanted justice for Minju. But they were afraid of what the Corvins might do. The Empire was too strong. They had big ships and powerful weapons. What could humans do against such power? But Deho had already made his choice. While Velthar was making his threats, Deho quietly activated a hidden quantum relay. It was illegal for colonies to have such devices, but some humans had built them anyway. The recording of Minju's death began its journey to Earth. As the Corvin ships left the colony, the humans gathered around Junho. They did not know what to say. How do you comfort a father who has lost his child? How do you find hope when evil seems so strong? They buried Minju's shoes in a small grave. Junho placed a simple marker that said, Minju, beloved daughter. As he walked away, he whispered a promise to the wind. This will not be forgotten. Someone will pay for what they did to you. Far away on Earth, Admiral Taewon Park received an urgent message. When he saw the recording, his face went pale. He immediately forwarded it to the highest levels of government. Within hours, people who mattered were watching a little girl die for no reason except alien hatred. The spark had been lit. Soon, the galaxy would burn. President Sujin Kim sat in the emergency meeting room deep under the mountains of Earth. The room was full of the most important people in human government. Military leaders, scientists, and politicians all watched the screen in complete silence. The recording played again. Little Minju bumped into the alien. She said sorry. The weapon charged up. The bright flash. Then nothing but empty shoes on dusty ground. Sujin Kim had watched this recording 20 times already. Each time she felt her heart break a little more. Each time her anger grew stronger. She was not just a president now. She was a mother watching another mother's child die for no reason. How many people have seen this? She asked quietly. Admiral Taewon Park cleared his throat. The recording reached us 6 hours ago. We have kept it classified so far. Only people in this room know about it. Good. Sujin Kim stood up slowly. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. Ladies and gentlemen, they have made a terrible mistake. They think we are weak. They think we will do nothing. They are wrong. General Hana Choi leaned forward. Ma'am, what are you saying? Sujin Kim looked around the room at each person. I am saying that 30 years of hiding is over. I am saying that the galaxy is about to learn who humans really are. The room became very quiet. Everyone knew what she meant, but hearing it said out loud was different. For 30 years, humanity had played a role. They pretended to be simple farmers and traders. They acted weak and peaceful. But it was all a lie. Fleet Admiral Inwoo Lee opened a secure folder. Inside were papers that only 5 people on Earth had ever seen. Operation Deep Cover has been running since we joined the Empire, he said. Every farming colony, every trading post, every mining operation, they were all part of the plan. Dr. Unisong, the head of weapons development, activated a holographic display. It showed the galaxy with hundreds of red dots scattered across it. These are our real facilities, she explained. The farms were weapons factories. The mines were shipyards. The trading posts were intelligence centers. Admiral Taewon Park added more details. Our traders have been mapping every alien world for decades. Our farmers have been building the largest military force in galactic history. Our miners have been creating weapons that the Empire has never seen before. Sujin Kim smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had been waiting a long time for this moment. How many ships do we have? 500,000 war cruisers, Admiral Inwoo Lee replied, all hidden in asteroid fields and dead star systems, plus 50 million soldiers in cryosleep, waiting for orders. The numbers shocked even the people who had helped build this secret army. 500,000 ships was more than the entire Corvin Empire had. It was more than any species in the galaxy had ever built. What about weapons? asked General Hana Choi. Dr. Unisong's eyes lit up. We have been studying alien technology for 30 years. We reverse-engineered everything they had, then made it better. Phase weapons that go through shields, nano-disruptors that disable ships without destroying them, temporal bombs that can freeze entire fleets in time. Intelligence networks? Sujin Kim asked. We have people everywhere, Admiral Taewon Park said proudly. Janitors in Corvin military bases who are actually our spies. Cooks in government buildings who listen to every conversation. Maintenance workers who can access any computer system. The scope of the deception was incredible. While the galaxy thought humans were weak and stupid, they had been building the most advanced military in history. Every insult, every moment of being treated badly had been endured for this purpose. Why did we do all this? Asked a young politician who was new to the secret. Sujin Kim's face became serious. Because we knew this day would come. We knew that eventually someone would go too far. Someone would hurt an innocent human, and we would have to respond. We have been preparing for 30 years to protect our people. She activated another display. It showed detailed plans for every Corvin world. Military bases, government centers, population areas. Everything was mapped out perfectly. Minju was not the first human to die at alien hands, Sujin Kim continued. But she will be the last. Today we stop pretending to be weak. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you hurt our children. Admiral In-Woo Lee stood up. What are your orders, Madam President? Sujin Kim looked at the picture of little Minju on the screen. The child was smiling, holding her pet rabbit. She looked so happy and innocent. Now she was dead because an alien thought humans were animals. Begin Operation Righteous Fury, Sujin Kim said firmly. I want every Corvin military installation destroyed. I want their government captured. I want their empire to fall completely. What about the other alien species? Asked General Hana Choi. Some of them might try to help the Corvins. Then they will learn the same lesson, Sujin Kim replied coldly. Anyone who stands with child killers will face the same fate. Dr. Yuna Song raised her hand. Should we offer them a chance to surrender first? Sujin Kim thought about this for a moment. We will send one message to every world in the galaxy. They need to know why this is happening. They need to understand that this is justice, not conquest. Admiral Taewon Park was already preparing the communication systems. What should the message say? Sujin Kim walked to the window that looked out over the secret military base hidden under the mountain. Thousands of soldiers were already getting ready for war. Ships were being prepared for launch. Weapons were being loaded. Tell them exactly what happened, she said. Show them the recording of Minju's death. Then tell them this, you killed our child. Now face the consequences. Humanity remembers. The room filled with activity as orders were given. 30 years of careful planning was about to become reality. The secret was finally out. Humanity was no longer hiding. Admiral In-Woo Lee opened a secure communication line to the fleet commanders scattered across the galaxy. This is Fleet Command. Authorization Alpha 77. Begin immediate deployment to target systems. Operation Righteous Fury is now active. All across human space, hidden bases came to life. Asteroid fields that looked empty suddenly revealed massive shipyards. Dead star systems lit up with the engines of war cruisers. Peaceful farming colonies opened underground bunkers filled with weapons and soldiers. General Hana Choi coordinated with Special Forces, teams already in place on Corvin worlds. Phoenix Team, this is Control. Begin Phase 1 operations. Repeat, begin Phase 1 operations. The response came back immediately. Control, Phoenix Team confirms. We have been waiting 30 years for this order. Beginning operations now. Dr. Unisong supervised the final preparations of humanity's secret weapons. Scientists and engineers who had spent decades pretending to study farming equipment now revealed their true work. Weapons that could destroy entire fleets, shields that could stop any known weapon, technology that was centuries ahead of anything the Empire had. As the preparations continued, Sujin Kim stood alone, looking at Minju's picture. I'm sorry we couldn't protect you, little one, she whispered. But we will make sure this never happens again. Your death will save thousands of other children. The quantum communication networks lit up as messages were sent across the galaxy. Every alien government, every military command, every news organization received the same broadcast. The recording of Minju's death followed by humanity's declaration. On alien worlds, leaders watched in shock as they saw what the Corvins had done. Then they saw something that terrified them even more. The true size of humanity's military force. Ships beyond counting, weapons beyond imagination, soldiers ready for war. The galaxy had always seen humans as weak prey animals. Now they were about to learn the truth. When you threaten a human's child, you don't face just one person. You face all of humanity. And humanity had been preparing for this fight for 30 years. The sleeping giant was awake. The pretending was over. The Corvan Empire had hours left to exist. The first attack came at exactly 6 in the morning Galactic Standard Time. All across Corvan space, the impossible happened. Empty space suddenly filled with human warships. Admiral Jiho Kang commanded the assault on Corvan Prime, the Empire's homeworld. 50,000 human cruisers appeared around the planet like ghosts becoming real. The Corvan Defense Fleet was having morning patrol when their sensors went crazy. "What is happening?" shouted Corvan Admiral Grektar as his command ship shook from nearby explosions. His fleet of 2,000 ships had seemed strong just moments before. Now they looked like toys compared to the human force surrounding them. The Corvan planetary shields were supposed to be the strongest in the galaxy. They had protected the homeworld for 500 years. No enemy had ever broken through them. But the human weapons were different. Phase beams passed right through the shields like they were not there. Admiral Jiho Kang watched from his command ship as the Corvan defenses crumbled. "Target their military bases only," he ordered his captains. "We are here for justice, not massacre." The human ships moved with perfect coordination. They had practiced this attack in secret for decades. Every captain knew exactly where to go and what to target. The Corvan fleet tried to fight back, but their weapons could not penetrate human shields. Within 1 hour, every Corvan military base on the homeworld was destroyed. Their space fleet was captured or disabled. The planet that had ruled over hundreds of worlds was now helpless, but Admiral Jiho Kang was not finished. He opened a communication channel to the planet's surface. "People of Corvan Prime," his voice echoed across every city. "We are here because your enforcer Thrakvar murdered a human child. We want him brought to us now." Down on the planet, Emperor Gorthval was hiding in his deep bunker. He could not believe what was happening. How did the weak humans suddenly have such a powerful fleet? Where had all these ships come from? "Find Thrakvar!" he screamed at his generals. "Bring him to the humans!" Maybe they will leave if we give them what they want. But it was too late for simple solutions. This was not just about one alien killer anymore. This was about 30 years of built-up anger. This was about every human who had been insulted, threatened, or hurt by the Empire. Captain Min Sok-yoon led a special strike team down to the planet's surface. They had one mission: find Thrakvar and bring him to justice. The team moved through the Corvan capital city like silent hunters. They found Thrakvar hiding in a military bunker, surrounded by guards. The alien who had seemed so powerful when facing a little girl was now shaking with fear. "Stay away from me!" he screamed when he saw the human soldiers. "I am a Corvan enforcer." "You cannot touch me." Captain Min Sok-yoon looked at him with cold eyes. "You killed a child," he said simply. "Now you face the consequences." The battle for the bunker was short. Corvan weapons could not hurt humans in their advanced battlesuits. Within minutes, Thrakvar was captured and brought to the human fleet. Meanwhile, all across the galaxy, similar attacks were happening. Human fleets appeared around every Corvan world at the same time. The Empire's military had no time to organize a defense. Admiral Bora Shin commanded the attack on the Corvan Military Academy world. This was where they trained their young soldiers to be cruel and violent. "Disable their ships but spare the students," she ordered. Some of them might be able to learn better ways. Admiral Dong Wuhan led the assault on the Outer Rim territories. These were worlds where the Corvans kept slaves from other species. "Free everyone," he told his ground forces. "Show these people that humans fight for the innocent." The alien slaves could not believe what they were seeing. For generations, they had suffered under Corvan rule. They had been told that no one was strong enough to challenge the Empire. Now these strange mammals from a small world were destroying their oppressors. On the mining world of Kethavar, thousands of Zephonian slaves watched human soldiers break open their prison camps. An old Zephonian named Telara fell to his knees when a human medic offered him food and water. "Why are you helping us?" Telara asked with tears in his eyes. "We are not your people." The human medic, Corporal Sunmi Park, knelt down beside him. "Because it is right," she said gently. "Because no one should be a slave. Because our children died fighting for freedom, and now we fight for yours." The psychological impact of the attacks was enormous. The Corvan Empire had built its power on fear. They convinced everyone that they were too strong to fight. Now that myth was destroyed in a single day. Other alien species watched the battles in shock. The Althari Federation immediately closed their borders and recalled all their diplomats. The Zephonian Collective sent secret messages to human commanders, offering to help with supplies. On the trade world of Melkron, Captain Hyunwoo Lim received surrender offers from 3 different alien governments. They all wanted to make sure humans knew they had never supported the Corvans. "We want no trouble with Earth," the Althari ambassador said desperately. "We always thought humans were honorable people." Captain Hyunwoo Lim looked at him with tired eyes. "If you thought we were honorable, why did you never help us when the Corvans abused us?" The ambassador had no answer. Like most aliens, they had been happy to ignore human suffering as long as it did not affect them. Back on the human command ship above Corvan Prime, Admiral Jiho Kang prepared for the trial of Thrakvar. They had built a special chamber where representatives from many worlds could watch the proceedings. Junho, Minju's father, had volunteered to serve in the human military. He wore the uniform of a fleet marine, but his eyes still held the pain of loss. When they brought Thrakvar before him, the alien tried to act defiant. "I did nothing wrong," Thrakvar declared. The human child was aggressive. "I defended myself." Admiral Jiho Kang played the recording of Minju's death for everyone to see. The little girl bumping into the alien by accident. Her saying sorry. The weapon charging up. The bright flash that took her life. "This is your defense?" Admiral Jiho Kang asked coldly. "Murdering a child who said she was sorry?" Thrakvar's confidence crumbled as he watched his own actions. Even he could see how horrible it looked. She touched me," he said weakly. "Humans are not supposed to touch Corvans." Junho stepped forward. His voice was quiet but full of pain. "She was 10 years old. She was playing with her pet rabbit. She bumped into you by accident and said she was sorry. For this, you killed her." The trial was broadcast across the galaxy. Billions of beings watched as humans showed them what real justice looked like. There were no torture chambers, no cruel punishments. Just a fair trial where the evidence was clear. The verdict was unanimous. Thrakvar was found guilty of murdering an innocent child. The sentence was death to be carried out by the child's father. Junho held the weapon with shaking hands. He looked at the alien who had destroyed his world. "This is for Minju," he said quietly and pulled the trigger. Justice was done, but the war was far from over. Reports came in from across the galaxy. Human fleets had appeared around every Corvan world. The Empire's military was being systematically destroyed. Admiral Shungmin Jo reported from the Corvan research stations. All biological weapon facilities secured. "We found evidence they were planning to use diseases against civilian populations." Admiral Yunbi Park sent word from the border regions. 17 slave worlds liberated. Over 2 million beings freed from Corvan control. Admiral Chanwoo Kim reported the capture of the Empire's main shipyards. Industrial capacity secured. No new Corvan ships will ever be built. Emperor Gorthval watched his empire crumble from his bunker. In one day, the humans had done what no enemy had managed in 5 centuries. They had brought the mighty Corvan Empire to its knees. He tried to contact other alien governments for help, but no one answered his calls. The galaxy had seen what humans could do. No one wanted to face the same fate as the Corvans. "How did we not know?" he asked his remaining advisors. "How did they hide such a powerful military?" General Velkoth, one of his few surviving commanders, shook his head in disbelief. "They played us for fools. For 30 years they made us think they were weak while they built the greatest war machine in galactic history." As night fell on Corvan Prime, the human fleet maintained its blockade. The planet that had once controlled hundreds of worlds was now just another conquered territory. Admiral Jiho Kang looked out at the stars and thought about little Minju. Her death had triggered this massive war. Her innocence had awakened humanity's protective fury. "The first day is over," he reported to Earth. "The Corvan Empire is finished as a military power, but we will not stop here. Every world they controlled will be freed. Every species they oppressed will know justice." The storm had been unleashed. There was no stopping it now. Emperor Gorthval knew his empire was dying. In just 3 days, the humans had destroyed half his military and freed dozens of worlds. His advisors brought him bad news every hour. Another fleet destroyed. Another planet surrendered. Another species declaring independence from Corvan rule. We have to do something, he screamed at his remaining generals. These humans cannot defeat the greatest empire in the galaxy. General Hector, his chief military advisor, looked tired and defeated. Your Majesty, they are not just defeating us. They are destroying us completely. Our weapons cannot hurt their ships. Our shields cannot stop their weapons. It is like fighting ghosts. The Emperor's desperation led him to a terrible decision. Send word to all our remaining commanders, he ordered. If the humans will not stop their attack, we will destroy entire planets. We will kill billions of civilians to show them we are still strong. The threat was broadcast across the galaxy. Emperor Gorthval appeared on every communication channel, standing in his golden armor. Humans of Earth, he said with false confidence. Stop your illegal invasion immediately, or we will destroy every civilian world in our territory. We will kill billions of innocents to protect our empire. The message reached President Sujin Kim within minutes. She was in the war room on Earth, coordinating the massive military operation. When she heard the Corvan threat, her face became hard as stone. Admiral Park, she said calmly, please open a channel to every world in the galaxy. I want everyone to hear my response. President Sujin Kim looked directly into the camera. Her voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of humanity's anger. Emperor Gorthval, you killed our child. You showed no mercy to little Minju, who was innocent and harmless. Now you threaten to kill billions more innocents to save your cruel empire. She paused, letting her words sink in across the galaxy. Here is our answer. You will show no mercy to the innocent, so we will show none to you. Every threat you make will be paid back 10 times over. Every civilian you hurt will cost you 1,000 of your own people. The broadcast ended and the galaxy held its breath. The humans had just declared that they would not be stopped by threats against civilians. This was unheard of in galactic warfare. Usually, species would negotiate when innocents were threatened. But humanity was different. They had learned something that other species had forgotten. Evil must be stopped completely, no matter the cost. There could be no compromise with those who would murder children. Admiral Juan Joseo received new orders from Earth. His fleet was positioned near the Corvan world of Tecmara, where 2 billion civilians lived. The Emperor had threatened to destroy this world if humans did not retreat. Sir, his communication officer reported, the Corvans are charging their planet killer weapon. They really plan to destroy their own people. Admiral Juan Joseo felt sick to his stomach. The Corvans were so desperate that they would commit genocide against their own civilians. Lock onto their weapon systems, he ordered. We will not let them murder innocents. The human fleet moved with lightning speed. New weapons that the galaxy had never seen before lit up the darkness of space. Temporal anchor bombs froze the Corvan ships in time loops, preventing them from firing. Phase weapons reached through their shields and disabled their planet killer without destroying the ships themselves. In less than 20 minutes, the entire Corvan fleet was helpless. The 2 billion civilians on Tecmara were safe, but they did not know it yet. All they knew was that their own government had tried to kill them to win a war. Similar scenes played out across dozens of worlds. Every time the Corvans threatened civilians, human fleets appeared to stop them. The Empire's desperate attempts to use innocent people as shields failed completely. General Youngji Kim commanded a deep strike force that targeted the Corvan leadership directly. Using stealth technology that made their ships invisible, they penetrated the most heavily defended systems in the Empire. We are not here to conquer worlds, General Youngji Kim told her officers. We are here to remove the leaders who order the murder of children. Cut off the head and the body will die. Her forces struck at command centers, government buildings, and military headquarters. One by one, the Corvan High Command was eliminated or captured. General Velthar, who had covered up Minju's murder, was found hiding in a bunker on the industrial world of Grektar. Colonel Sun Wu Li led the team that captured him. You remember a little human girl named Minju? He asked the terrified alien. You called her death-justified enforcement action. Velthar tried to deny his involvement, but the humans had recorded everything. They had been watching and listening for 30 years. Every crime, every cruel order, every cover-up had been documented. Please, Velthar begged. I was just following orders. I did not want to hurt anyone. Colonel Sun Wu Li looked at him with cold disgust. You threatened to destroy an entire colony to keep people quiet about a child's murder. You are exactly as guilty as the one who pulled the trigger. While the military operations continued, human medical teams worked to help the billions of freed slaves and oppressed peoples. Dr. Kyung-hoon Park led medical ships to dozens of worlds, bringing food, medicine, and hope to those who had suffered under Corvan rule. On the mining world of Vexkara, he found thousands of Althari workers who had been enslaved for decades. They were sick, starving, and had lost all hope. Many of them tried to hide when the humans arrived, thinking they were new oppressors. "We are not here to hurt you," Dr. Kyung-hoon Park said gently to a group of frightened children. "We are here to help. You are free now. The Corvans will never hurt you again." An old Althari woman named Sekna could not believe what she was hearing. "Free," she whispered. "What does that word mean?" "We have been slaves so long we forgot." Dr. Kyung-hoon Park smiled sadly. "It means you can go where you want to go. It means you can choose your own life. It means no one will ever own you again." The Psychological Warfare Division, led by Colonel Jinsu Ryu, made sure every Corvan world knew exactly why their empire was being destroyed. The image of little Minju was broadcast on every captured planet, along with the story of her murder. "This is why your leaders are dying," the message said. "This is why your empire is falling. Because they thought it was acceptable to murder innocent children. Because they believed might makes right. Because they forgot that actions have consequences." The effect on Corvan morale was devastating. Many soldiers simply surrendered rather than fight for leaders who would kill children. Entire fleets defected to the human side, bringing valuable intelligence about remaining empire strongholds. Emperor Gorthaval's isolation became complete when his own people began to turn against him. Reports reached him of riots on the remaining Corvan worlds. His own citizens were demanding his surrender to stop the destruction. "They blame me," he raged at his few remaining loyal followers. "They say this is my fault. But I did not kill the human child." His advisor, General Kethvar, spoke carefully. "Your Majesty, you did approve of the action afterward. You called it justified. The galaxy has seen the recordings." The Emperor's face turned purple with rage. "I will not surrender to these animals. I will fight to the last ship, the last soldier, the last breath." But his empire was already gone. Human forces controlled over 90% of former Corvan territory. Millions of freed slaves were returning to their homeworlds. Dozens of species were declaring independence and asking for human protection. Admiral Taewon Park, now commanding the largest fleet in galactic history, received the final orders from Earth. "You are authorized to capture Emperor Gorthaval alive if possible," President Sujin Kim told him. "He will stand trial for crimes against humanity and crimes against all the innocent peoples his empire oppressed." The final assault on the Emperor's hidden fortress took place on the 6th day of the war. Human special forces, led by Major Ji-hee Moon, used advanced stealth technology to penetrate the most secure location in the Empire. They found the Emperor cowering in his deepest bunker, surrounded by his last few loyal guards. When they broke through the final door, Gorthaval was sitting on his throne, still wearing his golden crown. "I am the Emperor of the Corvan Empire," he declared with fake dignity. "You cannot arrest me. I have diplomatic immunity." Major Ji-hee Moon looked at him without emotion. "Your empire no longer exists. Your government has fallen. You are just a war criminal now." As they led him away in chains, Emperor Gothval screamed threats and curses. But his words had no power anymore. The mighty Corvan Empire, which had ruled for 5 centuries, was finished. The war was over. In just 6 days, humanity had accomplished what seemed impossible. They had destroyed the most powerful military force in the galaxy and freed billions of oppressed beings. But the real work was just beginning. Now they had to build something better in the ruins of the old empire. They had to show the galaxy that strength could be used to protect the innocent, not oppress them. The child killers had learned their lesson. The galaxy would never be the same. 6 months after little Minju's death, the galaxy looked completely different. The Corvan Empire was gone, destroyed so thoroughly that historians would debate whether it had ever been truly powerful at all. In its place, a new order was growing, built on principles the galaxy had forgotten. Emperor Gorthaval sat in a small cell on Earth, waiting for his trial. The golden throne and fancy crown were gone. Now he wore simple prison clothes and stared at gray walls. Every day, guards brought him news of how his former empire was changing. Billions of freed slaves were returning to their homeworlds. Species that had been oppressed for centuries were building new governments. The fear that had held the galaxy together was replaced by something the Emperor could not understand: hope. President Sujin Kim stood before the largest gathering in galactic history. Representatives from over 300 species had come to Earth for the trial of the former emperor. The Great Hall was filled with beings who had suffered under Corvan rule. "We are here for justice," President Sujin Kim announced. "Not revenge, not conquest, but justice. We will show the galaxy that the strong have a duty to protect the weak, not oppress them." The trial lasted for weeks. Evidence was presented from hundreds of worlds. Stories of slavery, murder, and cruelty filled the court records. Witnesses came forward to tell of loved ones killed by Corvan forces, but the most powerful moment came when Junho took the stand. Minju's father wore the uniform of a galactic peacekeeping officer now. His voice was steady as he spoke about his daughter. "Minju loved watching ships land at the spaceport," he said quietly. "She would cover her ears because of the noise, but she never looked away. She was curious about everything. She asked 1,000 questions every day. She wanted to know about different worlds, different people." He paused, wiping away a tear. "She bumped into that alien by accident while playing with her pet rabbit. When she realized what happened, she said sorry immediately. That was the kind of child she was. Always polite, always kind." Junho looked directly at the former emperor. "Your enforcer killed her for touching him. Your captain called it justified. You supported their actions. A child died because your empire taught that humans were animals who deserved no respect." The court was completely silent. Even the alien representatives who had never met Minju felt the weight of her father's words. Emperor Gorthval tried to defend himself. "I was protecting my people's dignity," he said weakly. They were supposed to know their place." Judge Admiral Taewon Park, now serving as the Chief Justice of the Galactic Court, looked at him with disgust. "The place of every intelligent being is to be treated with basic respect. The place of every child is to be protected by all adults. You forgot both of these truths." The verdict was unanimous. Gorthval was found guilty of crimes against humanity, crimes against peace, and crimes against the innocent peoples of the galaxy. But the sentence surprised many observers. "You will spend the rest of your life in prison," Judge Admiral Taewon Park announced. "But you will not be executed. You will live to see the galaxy you tried to rule become something beautiful. You will watch as the species you oppressed build better societies than yours ever was." The former emperor was sent to a prison colony on a barren moon. There he would spend his remaining years thinking about how his empire's cruelty had led to its complete destruction. With the trial finished, humanity began the massive task of rebuilding galactic civilization. Admiral Taewon Park was named the first Supreme Commander of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force. General Hana Choi became the Director of Interspecies Relations. The 500,000 human war cruisers did not disappear after the war. Instead, they became the backbone of galactic security. But their mission was different from the old Corvan fleets. They existed to protect the innocent, not to conquer worlds. Captain Jiho Kang, promoted to Sector Admiral, patrolled the former Corvan territory with a mixed fleet of human and alien ships. His crews included freed slaves who had joined the peacekeeping force, wanting to prevent others from suffering as they had. "We are not rulers," he told his officers during their first joint mission. "We are guardians. Our job is to make sure that what happened to Minju never happens to any child again." The changes went beyond military matters. Dr. Yuna Song led teams of scientists in sharing human technology with other species. Medical advances that could save millions of lives. Agricultural techniques that could end hunger on dozens of worlds. Energy systems that were clean and efficient. "Knowledge belongs to everyone," she explained to skeptical alien scientists. "We hid our technology for 30 years because we needed to protect ourselves. Now we can share it to help everyone." On New Sol Colony, where Minju had died, something beautiful was being built. Ambassador Somin Young oversaw the construction of the Galactic Children's Memorial. It would honor not just Minju, but every innocent child who had died in wars across the galaxy. Junho helped design the memorial. At its center stood a statue of his daughter, holding her pet rabbit and smiling. Around it were gardens where children from all species could play safely. "This is what she would have wanted," Junho said, as he watched alien and human children playing together. "She always wondered about other worlds and other people. Now they can meet here in peace." The inscription on the memorial was simple but powerful. "In memory of Minju and all innocent children lost to hatred. May their light guide us to a better future." Representatives from across the galaxy came to visit the memorial. Many brought their own children, teaching them about the cost of prejudice and the importance of protecting the innocent. The Althari Federation, which had closed its borders during the war, now opened them completely. Ambassador Tel Nara, himself a former slave, spoke for his people. We were cowards when the humans suffered. We stayed silent when they were oppressed. Never again. From now on, we stand with those who protect the innocent. The Zephonian collective went even further. They disbanded their own military and asked to join the human-led peacekeeping force. We have seen what true strength looks like, their leader explained. It is not the power to destroy, but the courage to protect. Dr. Kyung-hoon Park established medical centers on hundreds of worlds, providing free health care to anyone who needed it. Many of his patients were former Corvan soldiers who had been injured in the war. We treat everyone, he told his staff. Even our former enemies deserve medical care. Healing is how we build a better future. Some alien species struggled to understand humanity's approach. The Draknari Empire, which had stayed neutral during the war, sent Ambassador Kexthor to meet with human leaders. You could rule the galaxy, he told President Sujin Kim during a diplomatic meeting. Your military is the strongest ever seen. Why do you choose to serve others instead of commanding them? President Sujin Kim smiled sadly. Because a little girl died and we realized that might without justice is just cruelty. We do not want to rule anyone. We want to protect everyone. The Draknari ambassador left the meeting confused but thoughtful. His own empire began making changes, treating their citizens better and ending their practice of slavery. As the years passed, the Minju Doctrine became the foundation of galactic law. Any attack on innocent civilians, regardless of species, would face immediate response from the peacekeeping force. The strong would protect the weak, not prey upon them. Captain Sun Woo Lee, now Admiral of the Outer Rim Fleet, led regular patrols to ensure peace was maintained. His ships included crews from dozens of species, all working together to maintain order. Every day as peaceful as a victory, he told his mixed crew of humans, Althari, Zephonians, and even reformed Corvans. Every child who grows up without fear is why we exist. 10 years after Minju's death, Junho returned to her memorial for the anniversary ceremony. He was older now, with gray in his hair, but he had found peace. Around him, thousands of beings from across the galaxy had come to remember and to promise. Children from dozens of species placed flowers at the memorial. They spoke in different languages, but their message was the same. We remember. We will not let hatred win. President Sujin Kim, now retired but still honored as the leader who had changed the galaxy, gave the anniversary speech. Her words were broadcast to every world in human space and beyond. Minju died because some beings thought that differences made them enemies, she said. But look around you today. Humans and aliens, former enemies and friends, all standing together. This is her true memorial. This is her gift to the galaxy. The ceremony ended with a moment of silence for all innocent victims of war. Then the children ran to play in the gardens, their laughter echoing across the colony. Human children played with Althari younglings. Zephonian youth shared games with reformed young Corvans. That evening, Junho sat alone by his daughter's statue. He spoke to her as he did every year. The galaxy remembers you, little one, he whispered. Your death saved billions of other children. You became the spark that lit a fire of justice across the stars. As the stars appeared overhead, ships from the Galactic Peacekeeping Force passed by on their patrols. Each ship carried crews from multiple species, all dedicated to protecting the innocent. The strong no longer preyed on the weak. Children could play without fear. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity had